Welcome to Cloud Infrastructure Services YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to show you how you can set up a Django server on Ubuntu running on Azure. So simply click the link in the description box to come to this marketplace listing for Azure, and from here you want to create a new virtual machine with this particular image. Now this image comes with pre-installed Django server and all the prerequisites required by it. So simply from this page, click on Get It Now, and then you need to click on Continue. And then from this product page, you need to click on Create. After that, you would be brought to this page. From here you can customize your virtual machine. So choose the subscription that you have, choose a resource group by either creating a new one or by choosing an already existing one, and then give your virtual machine a deployment name. So I'm going to go with Django. After that, choose the region or zone where you want to deploy your virtual machine. And after that, make sure that the image is the one that you got from the link in the description box, and then choose the size according to your requirements. After that, I'm going to go with the authentication type of SSH public key. You can choose password if you want, but I like to go with SSH public key. And then you need to give yourself a username, so I'm going to call mine as CIS. After that, simply click on Review plus Create. And then you would have to wait for a validation process to complete. Once the validation process is done, simply click on this Create over here. But this time around, you would be prompted to download the private key and create resource. So download the private key in a secure folder, because this is the private key that you would be using to connect to the SSH terminal of your virtual machine. Then simply wait for the deployment process to complete. Once the deployment process is done, the next step is to connect to the SSH terminal of our newly created virtual machine. For that, simply click on Go to Resource. And then from this overview page, simply click on Connect and choose SSH. After that, simply copy this command and paste it inside either a command prompt or a PowerShell. And then replace this path for the path where you have downloaded your private key. After replacing the private key path, simply hit enter, and when you are prompted, type in yes and hit enter once more. After that, your command prompt would be connected to the SSH service of your newly created virtual machine. Now the very first thing that you want to do with this SSH terminal is that you want to verify the version of Django. For that, simply type in Django-admin --version and then hit enter. Now as you can see that we're currently running the version 3.2.4. Now let's talk about creating a Django project. Now to create a Django project, we have the command Django-admin --start project, and then after the space we need to type in the name of the project. So I'm going to call my project as my site and then hit enter. Now what this command does is that it creates our my site directory. So we want to head inside that directory. So type in cd space my site. Now inside this directory, the very first thing that we want to do is that we want to apply or migrate the configurations. So for that, simply type in the command python3 space manage.py space migrate and then hit enter. So this is going to migrate all of the configuration into this folder. So now what you want to do is that you want to create a super user account. And if you want to follow all of these commands, you can simply click the link in the description box to come to this step-by-step blog post guide on how to set up Django admin server on Azure. From here you can simply copy this command. So to create a Django super user or admin account, simply copy this command and paste it inside the SSH terminal. So it is going to ask you for the username. So I'm going to call my admin user as testadmin123, and then it is going to ask me for the admin's email address. So I'm going to go with test@test.com, but make sure to provide a valid email address. After that, it is going to ask you for the password. So provide the password and reconfirm the password as well. Now once that is done, the next step is to actually start the project. Now to start the project, we need to first apply a specific IP address, which is our virtual machine's IP address, as allowed host. Now for that, come back to the blog post and open up this settings.py file with this command. Now as you can see that this command is inside my site directory. In case you have named your project something else, you would write that name or name of the project over here. So open up the settings.py file, and within this file you can see this tag over here which says allowed host. Now you need to provide your virtual machine's IP address within the square bracket but enclosed inside single quotation marks. Now to get the IP address, simply head back over to portal.azure, click on overview, and then simply copy this public IP address and paste it inside the SSH terminal. After that, simply hit Ctrl O and enter to save the file and Ctrl X to exit from the file. Now what we want to do is that we want to run our server. For that we have the command python3 space manage.py space run server, and then you need to provide the IP address on which you want to run the server. So what we want to do is that we want to run the server on the local host of our virtual machine. So for that we are going to type in the address as 0.0.0.0, and then after a colon we are going to type in the port number 8000 and then hit enter. Now our Django application is up and running. Now to get the output from this application, what we want to do is that we want to head back over to portal.azure, copy the IP address and paste it inside a new tab, and then add in the port number 8000 and then hit enter. So now you can see that we are prompted by a congratulations page that tells us that our Django application is working perfectly. But in case you want to open up the admin's portal for this Django application, what you do is that you come to the URL and add in at the end /admin and then hit enter. And then you would have to use the credentials that you created for the admin account, which in our case was testadmin123, and the password. After that, you would be able to log in to Django's administration portal. Anyways, that brings us to the end of this tutorial. Now if you have any queries regarding this tutorial, make sure to leave that query in the comment section down below and we will get to you as soon as possible. And also make sure to check out the link in the description box for the step-by-step blog post guide on how to set up Django server on Azure, and also for the marketplace listing for Azure. And finally, if this video has helped you in any way, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel.